Hey guys, welcome back. I've flown back into South Australia. The borders have opened and the government's let us do our things, so I'm home. Been back for a couple of days. Couple of boxes of Motion Raceworks parts waiting for me that I ordered last break for the coupe, and I finally got the the ends for the suspension arms finally came in. So I went down to AdmoFab yesterday and we made up those arms. So I've got a fair few parts to play with now for a change. I also have a diff for my truck, but that's for another video. But yeah, I've got some parts. I've got an engine bay ready to go. So let's get into it. So one of these boxes, the big one here, that came a while ago. I've had that one sitting on the shelf for a while. Let's quickly go through what that was. I may have covered it in another video. I don't want to go back through watching my videos because I'm not a fan. But this I got a while ago. This is a universal fuel pump, belt-driven fuel pump or oil pump bracket for the front of engines. The one on the car, I've made it a bit of a homemade job that works well. It just looks a bit crap, and it doesn't have the adjustment that this thing does. You can see you can move that around on those holes there, as well as swinging it back and forth. You can put on either side of the engine, and it's got the drive on there. You put the pulley on the front and the fuel pump on the back of it. Mine's a cable drive, so I've got the fuel pump at the back of the car. But yeah, awesome little universal pump drive. This here, it's a bit hard to make out while it's in the packet. It's a, if it focuses, so that's for an E85 flex fuel sensor. Usually, because they're only like a -6 size fitting on the sensors, that restricts your flow really badly. This one here, it's got like a bypass, so it's -10 in and out, and it's got a channel there where my thumb is, as well as going through the sensor, which goes in that gap there. So it still picks up the E85 reading, or the flex fuel reading, while not restricting flow. Relatively inexpensive and a really nice piece. So the coupe needs a flex fuel sensor. Especially for things like drag challenge when I'm changing fuels between tracks and driving. So yeah, there's that. I also have a pair of their single -12 fitting billet breather cans, catch cans, bottles. So I'm replacing the large square 3-litre one or 2-litre one that's in the car. Down in the corner there. I don't like where it is, and it's a bit ugly, and the hoses, it's got the 2 hoses going all over the engine bay to it, so I'm not entirely sure I'm going to put these yet. I haven't worked that out, but they're nice and compact. The one thing I do have to do, so I don't know, my phone's not. Yeah. One thing I do have to do is I can't run the filter straight up. For engineering, I have to run a PCV, or a positive crankcase ventilation valve. So that comes, so I'll have the rocker covers going, or the valve covers going to that fitting, and then out the top I'll take the filter off, and I'll have to make some kind of fitting that goes in there, and have a hose with a PCV valve going down to the front of the turbos. That's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass, but it's the rules. So that's what came in that box. That's been sitting up there for a while. Quick memory check. That's the current setup on the car. I've got the elbow facing backwards, Chinese throttle body off eBay down there, nice $1 throttle body, with a bit of pipe welded to it, going to a silicon joiner and down into the firewall. Pipework inside the car, well, intercooler in the back, pipe coming up and into the engine. Intercooler's coming out of the car, so that's got to change. And the angle on that, the front of that elbow, I can't use it on the front here. And that's also a different bolt pattern to the throttle body that I want to use. So it brings us to this thing. So 4150 carbs eyes pattern, LS throttle body, billet elbow from Warspeed Industries in Queensland, I think. I could be wrong there, but Troy from Warspeed, they build race engines, burnout engines, but he does CNC machining, makes things like this, valve covers, all sorts of things, but a lot of LS stuff. But he does these really, really nice elbows. They're not cheap like a cast one, like price-wise, they're not a cheap thing, but they look beautiful, and it's something I've always wanted on the car. I do want to tidy the car up, so I've got that. So to go with the billet elbow, the new Motion Raceworks Icon 102, which is the interchangeable connections icon. 102 is the size, 102 millimeters. Very, very nice piece, very compact. Takes a LS throttle position sensor. It's got the IAC thing up there, and a 1/8 MPT fitting. Very nice. It takes low car cables, standard LS type cables, and I love the adjuster on this thing compared to the one on my car now, which you can't even see with the camera. It's a pain in the ass to adjust, but this thing here is going to make a huge difference for me. So there's that. And to go on the front of that, the reason it's called the icon, the interchangeable connection, so it's got a O-ring surface in here, little step, these 4 bolts. You can get different fittings to go in front of it, so you can get a really tight 94-inch 90-degree bend, a straight one with a barb on it, one with a seal like a V-band seal or a quick change seal. But the one I've got, let's see if I can pick it up, billet twin 3-inch Y piece. So you can see the O-ring there, 4 bolts. It's on the front of the throttle body. And a little bolt on the front of that. That's where you get the idea there. So it's all nice and compact. It's nice and beautifully finished billet. Comes with the O-rings and V-bands. The V-bands are like standard V-band size. They're large and reasonably bulky, but that's what they have at the moment. They are coming out with a nicer looking, like a quick release, quick seal clamp shell type fitting. I might change to one of those later, but at the moment it works and it looks really good, so it'll look good on the car. So I've got all that gear, all the nice billet stuff, the new Motion Raceworks stuff. I've got a full engine bay here, so what I'm going to do now is tear all this out and have a look at bolting all that stuff in and see what else we have to change. So it's the next day. Apparently that's what you say in these videos. When it is the next day, you have to tell people. Got the elbow on, loosely bolted on there. Turn the turbo around to see where things are going to line up. A few little obstacles. I knew of a couple of them, but we'll have a look. So I knew the fuel rig was going to be in the way. I've got a few ideas for that. I'm going to put a 45 fitting on there, angle this down and away a little bit, and hopefully they'll give enough clearance for this pipe to come across. This turbo, when I spin round, the outlet is going to come up from the bottom, so it's going to be a bit of a funny shaped pipe. But that's fairly big and bulky, so we'll see how that goes, but I think I'll be able to sort that. this one here, same thing, a 45 down and then around. I rotated this turbo. This engine bay is a real mess, but it's almost a direct feed straight in there. It's a 3-inch pipe straight across with a little bit of a kick in it to this. I've got the throttle body on the right way up at the moment, with the 1-inch spacer, which I've got in there to get the pipes up away from the fuel rails. The top of the IAC housing is touching the bonnet, just. So I'm going to rotate the throttle body right around. I believe you can do that, and we'll see if that gives me enough clearance to shut the bonnet. If not, I'm going to shoot down to Outlaw Speed Shop and grab a 1/2-inch spacer, and that's going to make things very interesting with the fuel rails. If the elbow was less of a angle, would be okay, but I think we'll be able to work around it. May have to put a spacer between the throttle body and the elbow to bring this forward. Hopefully not, but we shall see. But yeah, I'll turn that around, have a look at the spacer, see if I've got fittings here. If not, then quick trip to Outlaws, and I'll turn this turbo around as well. So I've moved the fuel rig around, took the fuel line off, had a bit of a look-see with the fittings, and this is what I've come up with. I'm not sure how that came about, what happened there, but this turbo here just swung that around, and that's a perfect straight line to the Y piece, pretty much, slightly like 1 degree off or something. And same with this one, the silicon's not on there right, and that's just sitting there, but worked out really nicely. So although that looks like it's direct into there, I've ordered a couple of orb fittings ORB 45s, so that takes away that join there and direct onto the rail, and they come down. And I've got a 90 on the other side. That works, it's not actually touching, there is a gap in there. So 45 is much the same. Got a bit of room to play with. So that turned out a lot easier than I was expecting. And yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. Engine bays, where they've got the pipes in the bay like this, you know, if there's a few curves in that, and makes it look a bit interesting. I'm not 100% sold on 2 perfectly straight pipes going in a V like that, but it works. There's nothing wrong with it. Everyone else seems to think it's pretty cool. So next time I'm home, I'll get Andy down at Ammo Fab or Gav to tack these up for me, or weld these up. I've got to 100% bolt down the elbow there as well, so I know everything's in exactly the right place, and then I'll mark these and take them down and get those welded. I've also re-drilled the floaters, the coupe floaters, for 5/8 wheel studs, and I've got the studs, so they're all but done and ready to go back in. I've got new bearings and everything, so I'll assemble that, clean up the diff and assemble that next brake, and hopefully do the brake lines, and then I can get on to doing floor mods and chassis mods. But that's about it for coupe work on this video. While I am here, because I was unsure of what I was going to be doing with this pipe work, what I required. Sorry about the glow. I grabbed these little things from bendbrothers.com. I've been following them on Instagram for a while. and Facebook, they helped me out a lot with pipes, V-bands, flex joints for my turbo setup when I did the manifolds, the headers, or when Andy did them. But they've got these little 3D printed clamps with magnets in them. And what these are for is for marking pipes. So I thought I was going to have to be doing some bends. So if I put it on the right way, and my phone focuses, that's simply for you clamp it on and line it up wherever you need, run your texture around it with your marker, and you've got a straight line, whichever angle you need around there. So I've got, there's one for bends, and there's just a straight one for marking. Handy as. A lot of people use emery tape, or I've been using hose clamps up until now. Those are game changer for me. I've also got, those are 3-inch, I've also got 3.5 for when I do my tailpipes and that as well, my pipes. So there, there's that. I'll cut this one off here. I've got to fly back to work. We've got new cases in SA today with the thing that's going on around the world. Apparently we're not supposed to mention it on YouTube videos because it affects something to do with, I don't know. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. 2 new cases in SA. New South Wales is getting hammered. They've got deaths there, which is shit. It's terrible. I won't get into it too much, but I don't know how that's going to affect me coming home again. Same as the last video. Every time I fly to work, I don't know if I'm coming home. So it's a bit of a shit way to be. But it is what it is. I hope you guys are all well and it's not affecting you too badly. I know the lockdown, and that's pretty harsh. And it's affecting you guys with your businesses and just general living, and I hope that's not screwing you guys over too much. It's pretty shit for everyone at the moment, so I'm fortunate that I can go over there and stay there. But yeah, I do feel for everyone else out there. I hope you guys are going well and not struggling too bad. Yeah, bit of a sad note to end it on, but I'll leave it there, and hopefully I'll be back soon and we can get some shit done. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks.